Live.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Every Tuesday, we are here to connect as a like-minded community. And I'm going to edit what makes us like-minded. I've always said it's about leadership, it's about advice, it's about technology. But you know what it's really about? It's about who are the mortgage professionals that are the most valuable to borrowers and who are the most valuable to realtors. That's what Mortgage Coach is all about. That's what this community is all about, is not just being good, like, hey, I was good enough to get you to trust me to give me your social security number, and I was good enough for you to do a loan transaction with me. No, this community is about being the best of the best. It's about being the most valuable to a consumer. So I have invited some very special mortgage professionals to share how are they crushing it in this refi wave. I mean, we are in a market, I've been doing this 33 years, and it is unprecedented. I don't think I've ever been in a market. No, I know I've never been in a market where interest rates are at an all-time low, where equity is at an all-time high, and when consumer debt is at an all-time high, and when fear from the coronavirus is at an all-time high. So It's a really interesting market that we're in right now. And I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'll start bringing in our guests. Is I always like to say, like, hey, how do we turn this chaos, this opportunity, into an optimized personal experience? But then how do we take it from just being like, oh, a 3-month, a 6-month, a 1-year career spike into something that advances our career? Like, we take our career to another level. Our standards go up, our income goes up, our practices and behaviors go up. And they don't just go up for a temporary period, they go up forever. Now, maybe the hours that we're working right now are not sustainable, but the business practices that we're here to help you guys adopt could last you a career. So with that said, my co-host today is going to be Dan Keller. In my mind, one of the most professional mortgage professionals in the business. His goal is to be known by every realtor in the Seattle market. Dan Keller, what's up, brother?
Hey, good morning, you guys. This is going to be a really great call, and it ties into a lot of things that you and I have been talking about for the last year. This is an opportunity if you're a mortgage professional and you're not creating content. We got plenty of content right now to look at creating, from the FICO changes this summer to better understanding what's going on with the market because of the coronavirus, to what does a drop in mortgage interest rates of over 2% in 30 to 40 days mean to the consumer? And then how can we save our existing clients? That's a big part of our business, is managing our existing books. So this is going to be an incredible call. I'm pumped to be here.
Good. So Dan, how much in production did you do last year? What was your numbers for last year?
Yep. Last year was about 90 million, a little over 200 families helped, families served.
And then how are you doing, like, either last month, this month? What are your numbers to kick off the year?
Keith and I were just talking before the call. I mean, I think if you're running a really good business, you're not freaking out right now. You're not running your team into the ground. I mean, we're going to close 30 transactions this month. A little less than half are refinances. But just slow and steady. I'm not going to go try to bust any crazy records, but I'm definitely working. It's challenging me to be way more efficient with my time, because I'm not willing to work 12 hours a day. I'm a family guy. I help my wife support her business. And, I like a nice paycheck like all you guys, but I'm not willing to sacrifice certain other things like my family for that. But we got to be really efficient right now. I know Keith's going to talk about that, efficient and effective. And that's what we're focused on right now. This year, if I can repeat last year plus 10%, I'd be really happy.
Well, at 30 loans, you're doing more than that. Like, you're on track for a significant improvement. And then I hope everybody noticed when you hear Dan, it's about success and family life. And I know there's a lot of mortgage professionals on this call. Most of them are closing less than 10 loans a month. Let's face it, 70% of the mortgage industry is closing less than 5 loans a month. So people listen to that and they're like, oh my God, that's a ridiculous amount of business. So Dan, 2 things I'd love for you to do from a leadership level. When we're unpacking strategies, everybody I have is like an epic elite producer. Try to give the takeaways, like, hey, for other top producers, here's a takeaway. And hey, for new loan officers that are in their first 6 months or your first year, what's the takeaway? So we're really speaking to 2 audiences with your takeaway. You cool with that, bro?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's bring in our first top producer, Keith Collins, who is not only an elite originator. He is also an elite regional leader. So he does leadership and he does production. Keith, how much production did you do last year, and what are you on track for right now? Like, what have you done the past couple months?
Yeah, so personally, last year I did about $50 million in personal production, and in the region I did almost $500 million. So pretty cool numbers. I always take off the last 2 weeks of the year. So my first of the year is always much slower than the end of the year. So I think in April I did like 4 million in personal production. In March I should do about 6, and the goal here in April is going to be 10. And I think it's pretty reasonable. But
Nice.
I'm very much on page with what Dan said, is that like there's buckets of gold in the street, but we have to be very smart about how we go after it, not only for ourselves and our families, but for our teams, because this is a sustained refinance opportunity. And if we run people out of the business, it's going to be really hard to get them back and to go find good talent. So we've got to be very careful with our team members that we don't overdo it.
Love that. Hey, Dan, I want to remind you that the camera follows the sound. So you might want to control your mute when Keith is talking there. So Keith, I want to cover 3 things with you. One, I want to know, as an originator, as a producer, how are you using Mortgage Coach to save you time and to help your clients with refis? And I know you're gonna show how you're using Mortgage Coach Live. I would love for you to transition. Okay, now how do we take these low rates and turn it into a value to help realtors sell more homes? And then we'll just close out, because you are a unique perspective that you're originator and a leader. And let's close out the conversation with you around just leadership thoughts. Are you okay with those kind of 3 chapters of this?
It's perfect, man. That's perfect. I love it. I'm ready.
Okay, so guys, before I do this, I'm going to tee up Keith, and he's going to share what he's doing to get into conversations for refis. He's going to show you how he's delivering the mortgage strategies. I'm going to put a link in both Zoom. So you'll see in chat, there'll be a link in Zoom to his TCA. And if you're watching this at Facebook Live, if you're watching the recording, it won't be as dynamic, but if you're watching this live at Facebook right now, click on his link, because he's going to actually make it move. He's going to emulate a ninja borrower experience. So if you were one of Keith's clients, you're going to get to feel what is that experience like from an advice perspective. So Keith, I'm going to put it on mute so I don't have the camera flash on me, and I'm going to just let you rip for a few minutes. And then Dan, remember, you're going to do the takeaways. Let's go, brother. Tell us what you're doing.
All right. So technologies, so Mortgage Coach is one of them, and that's the primary technology that we're using just to go over the conversation, guide the conversation with the customer. That's not necessarily bringing in the business, if you will, but that is something that we're using to close and convert the business. Bringing in the business, some of the opportunity things that we're using, one is BombBomb. BombBomb is an amazing technology. It's linked in with our CRM, so all previous customers go in there. I typically send out about a quarterly kind of market update to all my clients with BombBomb, but with this rate drop, I did a quick video just explaining the Fed cut, the emergency Fed cut that they did, what it means, a couple examples, and I think that's really important. I did a couple examples in there of recent scenarios and how we save money for a customer so that they can kind of grab onto the opportunity. And I simply said, reply with a mortgage statement if you're interested to see what you're doing. I'm trying to find ways to be as efficient as possible. If I'm just kind of stabbing at numbers, it makes it difficult to sell the scenario to a client or guide them through it. So when we have that mortgage statement, it kind of tees up the entire team to just run with it. So I'm not pulling credit reports. We're not diving into that stuff. Send me a mortgage statement. Once you do that, we'll run numbers. I'm really not doing numbers for anybody until I have a mortgage statement. And then I followed up with a slide dial broadcast. So slide dial broadcast, that's a voicemail drop. I sent out to about 1,000 previous customers, just let them know, here's what's going on. This is going to be a sustained refinance opportunity. You're going to get a lot of offers in the mail. If you have any questions at all, text me a picture of the mortgage statement. We'll get you some relevant information. I use Schedule Once. So again, this is a technology thing. I think Schedule Once is an awesome tool where customers can just book on my calendar. And that's been one of the most efficient things that I've done is when we send out the numbers, and I could post kind of what an email looks like that goes out to my clients with a Mortgage Coach link and a Schedule Once link if you want there, Dave. But I got clients that are just booking 15 and 20-minute appointments on my calendar for a call to go over the numbers. And it's cool. Like I came into the office on Monday and I had 6 appointments in the afternoon just booked. And so I knew what the day looked like. I rolled into conversations with the customers and consultations using Mortgage Coach. And we locked 3 of them. So Schedule Once, Calendly is another tool, but the Schedule Once I use, and then HomeBot. I think everybody needs to use HomeBot right now. It is driving my refinance opportunity. The results that I'm getting from HomeBot are on another level. It's ridiculous. And then I'd say video. People connect with you via video. We're doing this through video. Video on social media is going to get a lot more drive than just an image and something that you're typing up. Live video is going to be even more. But you got to be using video right now and just educating the customer and your realtor on what's happening right now. I think this is with realtors and with loan officers. The access to information is really narrowing the need that they have for us right now. And so we have to be a conduit of information for our customers in our sphere so that they continue to reach to us as the person that they first think of when they're going to refinance, they're going to sell, they're going to buy, when they're going to do their taxes, invest, whatever. We have to be that conduit of information so that we don't lose opportunity. So those are the technologies that I'm using to make us more efficient. A lot of that is centered around previous customers. And so that's the challenge for new LOs. And so new LOs, the opportunity is everywhere right now. I was having a conversation on the way here with the new LO. Just call people in your sphere and tell them, hey, like, I don't really like to mix friendship and business all the time, but the opportunity that we have right now is one that our children, that like we're going to brag to our children about. Like I got a 2.5%, 15-year fixed, kind of like how our parents brag about the 16% interest rate that they got. That's what we're in right now. So call them and just say, hey, like, if you don't use me, it's okay. But as a friend, if I didn't tell you what's happening right now, I just wouldn't be okay with myself. So I'm letting you know, whether you use me or somebody else, it's cool. But you need to talk to somebody about your mortgage right now, because what we're seeing is something that we may never see again. And I think that's an amazing way. And then we'll dive into realtors in the later part. I think there's a huge opportunity to help realtors be a conduit of information to their customers. Anything on that, guys?
Yeah. So Keith, obviously you're not just reaching out to your past clients just because rates have dropped. So why don't you give all of us an idea of what your communication looks like with your clients, with your past clients? Is it monthly? How often do you send them a video? Do you send them a mailer? Talk to us about that, because I think loan officers that are just randomly reaching out to people that haven't heard from them in a year, come on, man, there's no relationship. There's no depth there. So let's talk about the importance of that.
Yeah. So annual mortgage review. So when we do an annual mortgage review with every customer. So my team, I have a kind of a generic BombBomb video that we've created about the importance of an annual mortgage review. I re-record it every year, so it's not gonna be the same video again the following year. But basically a client gets, they get a slide dial broadcast voicemail drop from me about the annual mortgage review, what it is, why it's important, what we need, mortgage statement. And then they get a email from one of my team members just asking them for the mortgage statement, and then providing again that Schedule Once link so they can book a 15-minute annual mortgage review with me. And then we send out the slide out, the BombBomb. And so what that happens is week 1, week 2, week 3. So when it's their month for their annual review, first week slide out broadcast voicemail drop. Second week, email from the team, specific, direct to them. And then the third week, they're going to get a BombBomb video from me explaining what we would go over in the annual mortgage review. So that's annual mortgage review. My CRM triggers me and sends me an email every day of everybody's birthday. So I use draft text messages. So on an iPhone, you can set up a draft text. And so everybody just gets a quick happy birthday text from me every single morning, all of my previous customers. So that's just something that they get. They respond, it's cool. HomeBot sends an email out every single month. So like we are programmed as consumers to receive a statement on a monthly basis about our assets. And at best, we get a recipe card from our realtor. It may be, to take it a little bit further, we get comps. but that doesn't tell us what the value is. And that's why everybody's rushing to this estimate, is because Zillow is telling them what the value of their asset is. We're programmed to get that information. We want and crave that information. HomeBot provides that to them every month. It's one of the most amazing marketing technologies out there. So every month they get that from me, and I'm gonna have 125% open rate on the email. It's bananas on HomeBot. And then I do a quarterly market update through BombBomb every month. So I don't do any paper. People don't get newsletters from me. It's all digital, outbound content. And then about my top 50 would get a phone call from me every so often. That would be marketing communication. Cool. So let's see, what else do we want to jump into, man? You want us to do the share screen on the Edge Live, just kind of talk about that a little bit?
Okay, guys, so I just want to summarize from a lead gen standpoint. He's using BombBomb videos. He's using Slide Dial. He's using Schedule Once. Whatever you're using, remember guys, this is for pro tips. So whatever scheduling you're using, put it in comments down below. And he is using HomeBot, which, by the way, everyone, we are rolling out our integration with HomeBot so that when a family clicks saying, hey, I want to get mortgage, or I want to get a quote, or I want to get a total cost analysis, it's going to auto create a total cost analysis. So that'll actually show up in your advice engine every time a family wants an inquiry. It's like they will have filled out the part of the TCA for you. So that integration is rolling out right now. We have a few clients that have it in pilot, and we'll be rolling out to the whole network soon. So check that out. So now you've had the borrower conversation. Walk us through conversion. How are you saving time? Because part of the goal, we're really busy right now. Everybody's working from like 4 in the morning till 11 at night.
Yep.
How are you saving time and delivering more value to the consumer with Mortgage Coach? And remember, everybody, if you click on that link, Keith is going to give you a demo of what we call Mortgage Coach Live. So go for it. What's your conversion look like?
So the conversion is Mortgage Coach Live. So what will happen is the mortgage statement comes in. We have a basic understanding. I try to reach out to the customer in some way when they get us a mortgage statement, or if I've talked to them before via email, like kind of what are the goals here, just to get some basics, because I think sometimes we also look past the opportunity that we have. Right now, there's gold in the streets. It's really easy to find opportunity with a refinance, but sometimes maybe it doesn't make sense to refinance to a lower interest rate, but maybe there's debt consolidation, or maybe they want to do some improvements to the home, or maybe they want to do a renovation loan and the equity's not there in the property. So I think often we don't kind of ask those additional probing questions to find other opportunity outside of just refinance and save money. So I try to in some way get that information before my team is actually putting together numbers, because I don't do the numbers, my team does the numbers. And if they have that, they know what to present in Mortgage Coach. But basically that statement, the statement comes in, gets queued up with my pre-approval manager. She goes in, creates a Mortgage Coach analysis based on my notes for the customer. She sends them an email. I don't have any part of this. The email goes direct to the client, has a little basics on what we can do, has a link to the Mortgage Coach analysis, has a secondary link to Schedule Once, where the client can book time on my calendar to go over the information. And then here's another key, and I think a lot of times we don't do this. I also then say, if you want to apply right now, here's the link. And I'll have clients that are applying without us having a conversation. I sometimes have clients applying without even sending in a mortgage statement, just because they trust us over time. And I'm telling them, hey, this is an opportunity. We got to take advantage of it. And I'm like, okay, we'll apply. Just tell us what to do. So I think sometimes people think that, hey, we've got to sell them first and go through the process before they're going to apply. Give them what they need to be able to start the loan, because often they'll just go into that Mortgage Coach analysis right there, and then they'll go right to the application. So that goes out. It gets queued up to me in Pipedrive. It's another technology we use. It's an awesome conversion tool for me then to reach out to the customer if they haven't started the loan or they haven't scheduled an appointment with me. And then I'm calling them to try to get them on the phone and go over the TCA with all the numbers and do it live. Cool. So that's that. I can cut.
Cool. So guys, I have already put a link in both Zoom and Facebook. So guys, if you click on that, you'd be like a consumer. Like Keith, it sounds like your production partner sent the email. They have the link. You have what, a 15-minute meeting scheduled, and now you're going to present the numbers. So why don't you present those numbers? I know I've got to get you off this call within 5 minutes because you've got to go into a realtor meeting. So let's go through this really quickly, and then we'll see where we go from there. I can see your screen.
Cool.
And
So
I now see the TCA.
you see the TCA. So I'm in the TCA right now. If other people have it up, Dave, you can see that it's highlighting on your end. You're getting all that come up.
Let me see. Boom. So guys,
Okay.
did you just notice that if you were on it and it was blank, he actually highlighted it. So he could have been doing this on a mobile device or his desktop. He's on a desktop. So walk us through it and kind of give us a feel for what you typically highlight and what you typically share.
Okay, cool. So I always make sure that they have that link up. They typically do. And if they're going to schedule that appointment with me, my team will send a reminder the day before, just letting them know like, hey, there was a link in the email. Just make sure you have access to at least your phone and in your phone to have that link because it's important. And for me, it's the information that I'm sending to them and going over with them is just as important with how cool this presentation is. Like I'm trying to present myself in a way that separates me from maybe the other person they might be talking to. So I actually point that out like, hey, do you have that link up? Yes, we have. Okay, cool. I'm changing some things. Are you seeing your screen move around a little bit? Oh yeah, that's super cool. Okay, cool. So then we dive into it. And I just go over to the basics. I let them know like, hey, and try to make a joke of it. I'm a numbers nerd. So like we can do a 500-foot flyover or we can really dive deep on this. I'm going to start with a quick flyover and like, oh no, we like numbers too. I already went through this whole thing. It was amazing. Okay, cool. Perfect. You'll like this. We'll go through it or just give me the basics, but it tells me how to walk through that conversation with them because I don't want to lose the customer, but I also want to give them what they want. So what I'll typically do is just let them know, okay, hey, we've got a couple strategies. I really like to call these things strategies. It's not necessarily about the interest rate. It's about the strategy and what are we doing with it. Metal did that video the other day that he posted. And I think the way that he started it was absolutely beautiful. He said, I think most people mismanage the opportunity in a refinance. Most consumers mismanage that opportunity. And so there's a lot of opportunity right here. I want to show you the best way that I think that we can take advantage of it. And so they called about a refinance strategy. So I'll just let them know like, hey, this is just a regular refinance strategy. It's going to save you about $179 a month off your payment. We're going to take you down to a 3.25 30-year fix from your original 3.875 interest rate. But what I've done is a couple other options for you. You know, you talked about having some consumer debt, and it was about $18,000 in debt. And there was just some heaviness and some weight that I felt from the conversation about you having that debt and maybe the need or desire to get rid of it. And so the second option here that we have for you, strategy 2, it just goes over that. It's a basic cash out refinance. So if we go ahead and pull about $18,000 out, pay off that debt, you're actually going to save almost $70 a month off your payment. Then obviously you're going to save a lot of money on a monthly basis by not having that debt. But here's where I think the big opportunity is in what we're putting together for you. And that is this cash out, and I'm calling it restructure. And so under this restructure here, what we're actually doing is we're taking that $18,000, we're paying off the debt. And what I'm suggesting is you go ahead and take that $568 savings. So $68 from the refinance and the $500 that you're doing just to service the debt. Remember, in a credit card, that's just minimum payments. That's not getting that balance anywhere. But what I'm suggesting that we do is we go ahead and just take that savings and reapply it towards the principal of the loan to accelerate the mortgage. Right now, you're going to have this loan for about 26 years. So the current path, you got about 26 years left to pay this thing off. If we go ahead and wipe out all of your consumer debt that you have, kind of lift that away from you, and then you take that savings and reapply it towards the principal, you'll actually have this loan paid off in almost 18 years. That's a huge, huge number. And what I want to do is just break it down for you from an interest standpoint. So what we have is over the next 26 years, your current path, right? You're going to pay about $169,000 in interest. It's a thing, that's a number, it's just part of the mortgage. But if you go ahead with our cash out restructure and continue to pay that same payment to the new lender, we're going to wipe out almost $70,000 in interest. It's a huge, huge number, and you're going to be debt-free in almost 18 years. Do you guys have any questions on that? And then I kind of let them fire off some stuff.
And what's the typical client response? I mean, this is a cut above the rest, but what do you hear them say as they're looking at this?
There's probably three responses that we get. One's how much does it cost us to do this? And what's really cool is I can just really dive in. I let them know, hey, in that top right-hand corner, there's a more info tab. That's your friend. Click on the more info tabs. You're going to find a whole bunch more information, but we actually can dive into this. Oh, this is in the way, brother. I can't click on it with this being in the way. I don't necessarily know. There we go. So, and then I can dive into the closing costs here. And for time's sake, I'm not going to get into that too much, but when they ask about the cost, I can show them the cost right here. I can highlight stuff. I can let them know like, hey, there's no points on this, or there is points or whatever. So I can jump into all that. So the first thing is how much does it cost? The second thing that I get, like, unless it's not an immediate yes, right? Oh yes, let's do that. The second thing is like, even in this conversation right here, some of you can see this, is even in just strategy one, they're saving $180 a month. Some people, that's a huge number. Some people, that's an average number. Some people, that's inconsequential. They're not really, they're not falling out of their chair at $180 a month. And they'll say something like, I just don't know if $180 a month is worth it. I don't know if that's something that we should do. And so I in a fun way, I kind of get a little sarcastic, and I say, well, let me just like give you an analogy here. What I see is like, you're walking to the mailbox and you go get your mail once a day. And every month when you go pick up your mail, there's $180 sitting on the sidewalk. Do we not pick that up? And or do we? And that's kind of what this is. This is $180 a month for life that we're going to save you off this loan. I wouldn't say no to that money. What do you think about that? And then they usually have a laugh, and then it kind of changes the conversation. So I try to throw something like that, or hey, you know what? I'm going to come to your door with an envelope of cash every single month with $180 in it. Are you going to take that from me? Or are you going to say, no, I don't want it? And that usually kind of takes it a little bit more to conversion. Now, I don't ever push a strategy or go that way if I don't think it makes sense, right? If we're not seeing a big savings or something that's going to benefit them, I won't go there. I'll say, you know what? I think you're probably right. You know what I think that this has done, and this has showed us that it probably doesn't make sense for you to refinance from a payment saving standpoint. But is there anything else that you've thought about doing? Do you have any consumer debt that you'd like to pay off? Have you thought about making improvements to the home? Do you have any upcoming expenses that we need to take care of? We can even do renovation loans. So I would take the conversation there.
Okay, so Keith, I know we need to get you into a realtor meeting, so I want to honor the time that you had. Do you want to jump, or do you want to provide any last leadership or thoughts to the community? Because I think it's 3 minutes till you're supposed to be in that meeting.
Good,
so
man.
sure, call.
Two things, man. I would love to just like briefly just talk about realtor strategy, like a minute, 2 minutes, and then there's just a little bit of leadership stuff if I can.
If you have the time, I'll let you do it.
Cool. So realtors, that kind of goes back to the same thing. Bill Hart did a great video on situational awareness. Like, we have to be able to look around and identify that there is so much opportunity in the street. Our peers are going to chase it and then forget about their realtors. And it was hugely evident for me this last week. So I had a realtor in my area. He closed 60 transactions a year. And quite frankly, I've never had the opportunity to kind of go after him just because I've been too busy. We've been friends on Instagram. He's commented on my stuff. I've commented on his. All of a sudden last week, I get a referral from him. Client calls me, says, John Cooper referred you. We're looking to, potentially sell and buy. So I, take care of the client, address the need. It's great. Then I call John up and I'm like, hey man, thanks for the referral. And I asked him, like, you're a big producer in the area. We've communicated on Instagram. Why did you send that to me? Like, I'm appreciative, but why did you think of me in that referral? And he said, Keith, quite frankly, I like what you're putting out there. And my lender hasn't called me in 4 months. And so if a guy like John Cooper with 60 transactions a year is not getting phone calls from his lender, who I went and pulled up the numbers, is getting business from him, there's so much opportunity with realtors. We cannot forget about our realtors. And I can't drive that point home enough, that we need to stay in front of our realtors. Now, here's the deal. How do we do that in a refinance world? We provide them the information so that they can be a conduit of information to their sphere. Every single realtor right now needs to post, if you have a rate over 3.75%, you need to call me. I will put you in touch with somebody that can take care of you. And that lending partner needs to lift that realtor up in that conversation to let them know, like, this is such an amazing time. It's so cool that Sally John sent you over to me. Like, she thought to reach out to you to see if you could save money, because we are changing lives right now. Like in that scenario I just showed, I mean, we're shaving like 9 years off their loan. It's change your life money, and they're taking that time to do it. The second thing, and Dan talked about this a little bit, is what's coming up. 1% drop in rate is almost equivalent to a 10% drop in affordability from a mortgage payment standpoint. And interest rates have dropped almost 2% in 60 days. So houses are 20% cheaper right now. There's a ridiculous opportunity for the consumer to potentially go buy the dream home, or maybe buy the home that was a little bit out of their reach, and it's now more affordable. So when that conversation starts with a refinance, I'm also asking my customers, hey, have you thought about buying a new house, something bigger, relocating, or downsizing? Even though I'm looking for that refinance, I'm bringing that up. And a few people have started that conversation. Yeah, we thought about buying a bigger home, but we just didn't want the new payment. Well, we have an opportunity to get you a lower payment right now. So educating the agent how they can have that conversation with the customer and giving them the information to go do that is going to be huge and extremely valuable. So I think a lot of times loan officers like, they know I'm busy with refinances. I don't want to reach out with them for refinances. Don't reach out from refinances. Reach out to give them information to go give their sphere. Cool. And then the final thing, man, is like the technology is going to make us efficient. Our skills are going to make us effective. And that was the thing, is efficiency and effective. We need to be very efficient in this time, like very efficient as we can. Chase the low-hanging fruit at this time. Don't burn out your team. Don't burn out your ops, because this is a sustained low-rate environment. And if people leave, it's going to get worse. Love on your ops. Take care of your ops. Take care of your team. Don't overdo the system. We're doing home loans right now for April and maybe May. It's not because we can't do it right now. It's because I don't want to overload the system. I want to make sure that everything's smooth. My sanity is important. My team's sanity is important. And I don't want to lose business, right? This is an opportunity to go get market share, but it's also an opportunity to piss some people off. I don't want that at all. But this is the thing. We're going to lose loans. It's going to be a thing. We're going to lose loans or renegotiations. Lending people are going to steal loans from us. They're going to, with the credit pull triggers, Quicken's going to call them, and we're going to lose a loan. It's going to happen. There's so much opportunity out there. Do not allow a bad 20 minutes to affect your entire day, right? It's going to happen. Forget about it. Move on, refresh, and go get the next home loan. Go be excited about expressing opportunity to realtors, because this is something that's unprecedented right now. And I think that's the important thing. It's okay. Hey man, is someone shopping you? No big deal. That's totally fine. Here's what I got. And if they're saying, hey, I'm shopping 4 lenders, I say, hey, call me back when you're done. There's more opportunity for me to go get somewhere else and spend all this time that's going to beat me up, all this time with somebody who's going to beat me up through the process.
Love
that's
it,
all I got, man.
Dude, I'm sure you got more than that, but you gave us a great ideas and pro tips to get the phone ringing, to make it easy to schedule meetings, to when you have a meeting, to make it easy and fast for both you and your borrower. I'm putting comments and takeaways and comments below. And then you had some great leadership advice, bro. So crush it with the realtor meeting you're going to go in. And thank you for being so active in this awesome community. Remember, the goal is to be the most successful in the business, but to be the most valuable to borrowers. And you're doing it, bro. So thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Take care, guys.
All right. So Dan, we do not have Denise Donahue yet. And Renee
I see Denise. I see Denise. She's
right down there. She's ready to rock.
She's here.
Okay, so Denise Donahue, you are up. If you could tell everybody what your production was last year, what you're doing right now, like how many loans have you done, how many TCAs have you done, and then tell us some pro tips. What are you doing and how you doing it?
So I closed $90 million last year for right around 307 families, and lately I've been drowning in refis, but it's such a magical moment. Many of you don't know that I didn't get licensed until 2012, and I tell people that I kind of got lucky because I worked at the bank and I had an endless amount of clients at the big bank, but I'd only done refis at the bank. I had never done a purchase transaction. I was like scared to death of them. But in 2012, the 30-year rates were in the low 3% range. And so this message is really for all the new loan officers out there. This is the time where you can be killing it, and you could take out a phone book, if these millennials know what that is, and call almost anybody right now and ask them if they've had a refi analysis or a refinance strategy completed for them. Because if you don't have clients of your own that you can call, I mean, I went to the nail salon and was wearing my mortgage nerd shirt and had almost everybody in there asking me about rates. There's no shortage of people curious about interest rates right now and what they could save. So go pop into a coffee shop, bring your calculator, wear your gear. But this is the time that you can really build up and beef up your client database, because how you treat these clients in their refinance experience will ultimately be people and families that you can help when they go to buy their next home. And so I would just say be mindful of that. But my first year in this business, I think I closed 7 million. I got licensed in April, and by the end of the year, I'd closed 7. And everyone thought that that was so great. And I'm like, it was kind of lucky. I mean, yes, I worked hard for it, but it wasn't tough to call somebody in 2012 to ask them about a refinance, because years before that, rates were almost a full point higher. And that's the market we're in now. So that's my message for the rookies out there. I would also add that, being somewhat a veteran into this, many of us are probably working late hours. And so my little pro tip, that if it hasn't been spoken about already, is you have to have a conversation with your spouse and your kids and let them know that mom or dad is going to be crazy busy at work. And to have that spoken about is just, will give you home support, because when you're burning the midnight oil, you're going to be tired. Anything that they can do to help with food and decisions on groceries, and you'll make it up to them in a month. We'll go on a family vacation, do something. But I would say that you not only need buy-in from your team and your processors and your underwriters and your appraisal desk and all those people, you need buy-in from your family too. So don't forget to have that conversation and let them know you might be short-tempered and you might not be mentally present for a few weeks, but you're going to make hay while you can, because you want to go on a vacation sometime in the summer. Just happy spouse, happy house is what I always tell people.
Love that. Love that. So let's cover 2 things. Well, really 3 things. One, what are just a few of the things you're doing to get the phone to ring? You know, I know you do a lot on social media. I want to hear your mortgage coach. You know, how are you using the total cost analysis to make refis easy for both you and your borrower, and valuable for your borrower? And then how are you flipping that switch and creating value for realtors? You know, how are you helping them sell more homes with these lower rates? So rock it out.
Yeah, so I made a post yet, because here's the thing, realtors don't really give a crap about refinance business. In fact, they're going to start getting a little irritated. We had a purchase closing 2 days ago that got rescheduled last minute, 10 minutes before closing, because the title company wasn't prepared, because they're swamped with refis. And there's nothing that's going to hack a realtor off more than knowing that you're too busy working on deals other than their deals. It's funny. I think when I was coaching with Bill Hart, he told me that when somebody calls in, whatever you're doing, you're always assisting a client, no matter if you're going to the bathroom. Oh, Denise isn't available right now. She's assisting a client. So you can't lose sight of the purchase business. What I am pumping out in social media right now, especially in my private Facebook groups with my real estate agents, is about purchasing power. And I'm showing them the charts of, and this is what I think we're not doing enough of. You've got to tie that emotional component of last summer at a 4.5% rate, $2,000 a month budget for principal and interest would get you a loan of $400,000. Today, with current market rates, it's going to get you $475,000. What is that $75,000 going to do for your client that with no change in budget? Here in Dallas, it might get you a house with a pool, might get you that 5th bedroom, it might get you that 3-car garage that you couldn't get last year. So agents, go to your database, find those stale leads, and start pumping them with this data. What I do to take it a step further, just because I'm a marketing nerd, is I prepare the graphics for them. I post it in my Facebook group, and I say, here, use this. Use it for your own. I don't need the shout out for it, because if you guys get more business, ultimately it comes back to me. I give them captions of what to post. with it because they're not the greatest at selling that. And I'm posting that every other day of what that looks like, how much money. So then I put it in a total cost analysis that says last year at a 4.5% rate at a $400,000 loan, what the interest expense might look like after 10 years versus the same rate market environment. And of course, I'm highlighting in really big font, you know, $86,000 in savings. That's the kind of stuff that is going to cause somebody to stop doing this on Instagram and be like, whoa, $86,000. Maybe I won't wait till next year to buy. Maybe I won't wait till this fall when it's a political time of year to make a move. But you've got to instill those pains and that content and those facts, and you're only gonna get that with cool stuff like with the total cost analysis. And so I'm running all kinds of stuff right now, Dave. I'm running hypotheticals comparing the last year to this year. I'm running hypotheticals on different purchase prices. I'm running a lot of things about, the stock market's tanking, but it's not tanking. Real estate and home values, especially in DFW. So take the money that you just liquidated from the stock market and let's go buy some investment properties and let's chat about a strategy around that. I personally have investment strategies in the DFW area. It's hot for that because a lot of people, I think the Ninth Corporation just relocated their headquarters to DFW. So we've got a market for that. So I'm pumping realtors with information on that hey, pick up a few more transactions this year by helping people expand their retirement plan. Let's build out a strategy for that. Man,
so
I can
real
go
quick,
on. It's an awesome time.
Are you, because Keith just did kind of the classic refi where it's like, hey, reduce your monthly payment. Here's the monthly savings. What if you prepaid it? Column 3. And hey, what if we did some debt consolidation? Column 4. And Josh Metal, for anyone who hasn't looked at it, Josh did a similar TCA that we're calling the Josh Metal Ninja TCA. Check it out. Are you finding that there are some opportunities to get people to move up? Like, hey, it's a once in a lifetime to buy, and you're having the refi conversation. Next thing you know, you're doing a cost of waiting or you're doing a move up analysis.
Absolutely, because the light bulb starts to go off with clients of, holy crap, I can afford so much more home. Maybe we should consider moving now. I talked to a lady yesterday. They're pregnant with their 3rd kiddo. They did not even think about buying and selling, but their house is a little cramped for them. So when we're going over their debts, America has a spending problem. But fortunately in DFW, we have more equity than we've ever seen. And so most of my conversations are, let's review your debts and see with this monthly savings we can get you. Let's start knocking down these student loans or these credit cards. Fortunately, when I show them that, the wheels start spinning that they think maybe I can buy a bigger home. Let's spend more money. I don't necessarily want them to spend more money. I want them to pay off their debt, but that's just kind of how we are. So yeah, those conversations are going, well, if I could refinance this, how much home could I buy? And we're almost now running, it's more work, but we're running refi analysis, and then we're running, well, what would my purchasing power be in today's market? Which is just bringing up more business to agents because it's like, well, here, let me call one of my agents and see what we can get as an equity analysis for you. And then boom, I've just introduced a client to a realtor for a sell and a buy. And so you got to keep your ears perked for that. And realtors will love it. A lot of these loan officers are going to be dropping the ball too in these 60, 90 days because we're swamped and we're not communicating well and things are getting sloppy and things aren't getting into the CRM. And so this is also prime time. If you've been that, second string quarterback, this could be your time to shine. So you better be on your A game. You better be popping by. This is the season to grind. It's March Madness, and it's mad in the mortgage business. So bring it. This is the time where you can really excel.
I love that. So guys, remember, every time you meet a client for a refi, equity is at an all-time high, consumer debt is at an all-time high, and interest rates are at an all-time low. So you should be looking for those opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities where it's like, hey, sell your home, pay off your consumer debt, buy the bigger home so you have all smart debt, you need to proactively do that. You can't expect the consumer to think to themselves, oh, I wonder if that is now the time. It's up to you to go, oh, look at how much equity you have. Look at your consumer debt. So do a refi analysis and also start doing a move up analysis at the same time. And any mortgage coach community leaders that are doing that right now, you have a TCA to share, please share that in comments down below. I know we're going to have a lot of refi TCAs. I want to see some move up TCAs down below. So Denise, anything else you want to share? I know you've got to get in and got to get out. Anything else you have time to share with the community?
No, just that if you're a team lead, you know, this is where you gotta, your team is, you know, I can work till 3 a.m. because that's, you know, what I do, but your team's not necessarily going to want to do that, and some will. And so the ones, you know, you got to love up on them. And it's more than just your inner team. It's your processors, it's the underwriters, it's your support staff, it's the person in HR. So I find that kissing butt and delivering pizzas to your corporate staff and goes wonders at this time, because everybody's, you know, slammed. Every department in our company right now is slammed. So just as you're burning the midnight oil, have somebody, have your spouse, have your admin, you send cookies or send pizza or send something that just says, hey, thank you, because I don't see this ending anytime soon. And if it's at the end of the month and you're trying to get these refi closed and you're the person that sent the pizzas, your file might get looked at before the others. So just know everybody's working hard. Mistakes are going to be made, and be a little sympathetic, more so than usual.
Well, thank you very much, Denise. I'll let you get jumping. Thank you for making time to come in and share a TCA when you have some time, so we can see a mortgage nerd TCA in today's market. It would be great. Sound good? All right, so we're gonna close out this call. We have Dan Keller, who has yet to share some pro tips. So we wanna get Dan's pro tips. And then we've got Renee Rodriguez to help do a debrief on some of Josh's videos. So Dan, where do you wanna go? Like, I know you've been taking notes. Do you wanna do Coach Dan first and provide a breakdown of some of the things that have been shared? Or do you wanna share some of your ideas first?
Well, I think it would be really helpful if we went and we just broke down what we've just heard over the last 45 minutes, where there's a couple of nuggets that we can give to the experienced, seasoned pros that can maybe make this time a little bit more effective and efficient for them. And then I think a loan officer that's closing 5 or less loans a month, maybe newer in the industry, some things that they can do, right now to drum up some business. So, and I don't know if this is me or you, but I think you're frozen. Renee, are you with us?
No, okay. we're hearing you, Dan.
Okay.
I keep putting my camera off so I'm not creating noise. But Rift, and then Renee and cool. I will close out the last 5 minutes.
Real quick, 5 minutes here. As far as I think everyone, the biggest takeaway right now, I said at the very beginning, if you're not creating content, you're missing out. For multiple reasons. If you're a newer or a younger loan officer, you should be creating content right now to the consumer. You should be getting it out on, if you're a newer loan officer and you don't have a book of business, you should be getting that out on social media. That could be your sphere. That could be maybe running some Facebook and Instagram ads, and just get positive content out, home affordability content. If you're looking for things to recreate, follow me on social media. I'm wired like I was back in 2011. I'm wired today as a seasoned loan officer as I was when I was starting out, where I was just presenting content out online, content to people that would listen to me, and then they would call me. And it's served me really well today. And then I create content now as an experienced loan officer for my past clients. Most recently, you guys know right now that Dave mentioned this, that the U.S. is over leveraged in debt right now. So we have an opportunity to maybe pull some money out of our clients' equity to pay off debt. We also have an opportunity to help our clients budget. You know, there's a lack of budgeting information in the U.S. right now, so we can put on budgeting classes to teach our clients how to budget more effectively so they don't put themselves into situations where they're over leveraged. Number 3, FICO is making big changes to the FICO algorithm that's going to impact 150 million Americans in July. That needs to get out to the consumer. 150 million Americans' credit scores are going to go down 30 to 50 points. So why is that happening? Well, the government's seeing things that we as mortgage loan officers are seeing, and you're seeing, Dave. The consumers are leveraged right now with debt. It's worrying them, so they're going to tighten things up. These are indicators for us that we need to be creating content around that to help Americans manage their debt better. The other thing in regards to, like Denise hit on it, home affordability. Right now, homes in America are on sale. That should be the focus. Homes in America are on sale 10 to 20% off. And it has to do with the financing aspect of it. The other part of it is, what does a 2% drop in interest rates do? Well, it helps you buy a $100,000, $150,000 house more. You qualify for more. That might put you in a different area, a different school district. So this is where Renee Rodriguez could come in and really talk about the storytelling aspect of it, where now we get to connect with someone. Have you ever thought about living in this school district? Here's your opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to change the lifestyle for your family. It could be a first-time home buyer graduating from a condo. Their home search was centered around condos and townhomes due to home affordability. Now they can qualify for a home, a single-family home in the suburbs. So there's so much information that we could be sharing right now. I posted this on social the other day. I think it was in your group. Do not forget about your realtors right now. Do not forget about home buyers right now. We did a home buyer class last week. The number one concern right now is home affordability. What does the drop? Everyone's aware that rates have dropped. First-time home buyers think the economy is going in the tank. So we need to be that positive light, explaining what is going on with the Dow, what that means to you, what this opportunity means to you as a home buyer. Home buyers are still seeing multiple offers up here in Seattle. So the housing market's still strong. Houses just went on sale at a 20% discount. What can you do to leverage this gift? You there, Dave?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry about that, Dan. So cool. So let's bring Renee in. So really everybody on this call, we've been through Amplify. I guess Keith Collins is going to go through Amplify, but the rest of us have been through it. And Renee, you've looked at Josh's videos, which my goal is to give pro tips, help the mortgage coach community be better than every other loan officer who's not part of our community, be better than every loan officer who doesn't have our technology. This call's been all about pro tips, but a lot of those pro tips, Renee, are just like influence, like leadership, words, messaging. So you just heard Dan. I don't know how much you heard of Denise. What are some of your thoughts? Let's get your thoughts, and then we'll close out all three of us together.
I have a lot of thoughts. I mean, I just go back to when I first got started selling cookware, when I first even got in the mortgage industry 18 years ago. And I was so thirsty and so hungry for new knowledge, new information from what the top people are doing. And I think it's easy for us to dismiss a Dan Keller or a Josh Metal or a Denise and people that are just in Kevin's of the world that are just so good at what they do that it's, I just want to make sure you guys can still see me. Okay, good. So because they're so good at what they do, saying, oh, it's them. I look at it differently. I look at it saying, that is them. I want to be like them. Let me watch these videos and record it. Let me record myself. Let me write down these scripts. I was listening to a little bit of the Josh's video, and he lays out step by step what to say each time. And listening to a Dan talk or Denise talk, it's their words are the gold. That's the currency, and they're gold because these words have been tried and proven and tested in the marketplace to actually work. And what I've always found is when you emulate what professionals are doing, once you've learned it, you can then start adding your own style based on your experience. And so I highly suggest doing that. That's one thing. And then the other thing is sort of the mindset that goes behind this. And it's asking yourself, what does it mean to become a real professional, a true professional, a pro at something? And think about, if you want to be a doctor, there's a ladder that you climb to do that. In corporations, there's a ladder. And we can dismiss hierarchy and we can dismiss, climbing the corporate ladder. but it is a pathway. It is a journey and a career. And the mortgage industry has failed miserably at creating that career path of growth. And because, we go from being a loan officer, and once you're successful, you're a manager now. Forget teaching you how to be a manager. We're just going to make you a manager, and we're going to make the value proposition. You're going to get an override. Well, we don't have time to train them, but I still want the override. Now, I'm oversimplifying this to say that there's so many other steps that are there. And if you look at those who are producing well, and Dave, you've done just an amazing job of capturing these people in one place. Look at that as sort of your journey. Is how do I start sounding like a Josh Metal and a Dan Keller and a Denise and some of the other people that you have on these calls? How do I sound like them? Well, there's a backdrop to what they've learned. One, they're all practitioners of what's going on, and so how do I personally become this? When I sold cookware, $2,500 a set, we were forced to buy our own set. Why? Because it was an integrity thing that we knew that if somebody was saying the price was too expensive, and I personally also thought it was too expensive, I couldn't close the deal. But if I personally bought it, now all of a sudden there was an integrity there, and I could do that. Think of how many loan officers right now don't have a mortgage that are renting. How many real estate agents that don't have a house? Right now, this is the time to be your own first client, if you will, and do that. So understand how it works to you. That was another piece. And Dan, you said it so well, brother. Don't forget about realtors. I'll tell you, I made a career in networking over the last 23 years about working with leaders in transition, working with the forgotten people. You get a CEO who gets fired, and all of a sudden, no one wants to talk to him or her. That was the time that I reached out and said, hey, let's have lunch. What's going on? What's next for you? And sometimes it'd be a year before they'd get a job again. But I built an amazing relationship with somebody who was already proven to be a high-performing individual. And at some point, they're going to be at the top again. And when you show up for people when no one else is, you enter a very exclusive club with people. And those people will remember you when times are good as well. And when you understand that transition, your wisdom grows. And so right now, the people forgotten are the first-time home buyer, or just the buyers in general, and real estate agents. So what a great time to go out there and meet with them and say, hey, I know rates are crazy, but how are you doing? What's going on with your business? What can we look at for the next? And you guarantee you're going to be part of a very small group of people that is making that call. And then the last thing that Dan brought up too was learning how to tell stories. Third-person stories are some of the most powerful ways to get messages across to people. When you can really say, it's not about me saying, here's what you should do. It's saying, let me tell you about John and Sally and what they did and what they went up with. And when you can tell that third-person story, what it does in the brain is it creates a sense of safety, because it's not coming at the person. It's going to a third party that is safe. And, Dave, you're calling it triangle for trust in sort of in the networking format. But there's a different triangulation that happens in this, in a sense that it's a safe person outside of us. It's not directed towards me. So there's nothing to defend. There's nothing for me to push back on. There's nothing for me to even reject, because I'm hearing a story about somebody else. And if you are smart in how you listen to the person before you tell the story, so you craft and you pull the right story. When I don't say craft the story, but you pull the right story for the right moment, that story should relate to the things and the goals and objectives that they had laid out and the challenges that they're facing. And so they can hear their solution through that third person of what's going on. So collect the stories, learn how to tell them. Don't forget about realtors, and have that mindset that we have to keep pushing hard, and that there is a career path. Even if nobody created it for us, create it for yourself.
All right, guys. So I'm going to close out with just what I think are some keys. And I'm not going to summarize everything we've done in the call, because we've put some notes down below. I see a lot of people collaborating, a lot of people in the live, Facebook Live. So one, remember, this is REFI Pro tips, and tips and strategies in a way that creates a sustainable career. So if you watch Josh Metal's video, both his TCA video and the video he's putting on social media, you'll notice a theme. That theme is mortgage strategies always trump rates. And he says that all the time. And then when he opens up the one video, he says, well, it's true, this is one of the most amazing times to take advantage of the refi market. He goes, I'm seeing more clients mismanage this opportunity. So if you took nothing away from this, it's don't just be hey, I've got the lowest rate, and you're just selling low rates and low payments. If that's all you're doing, you're missing an opportunity to create clients for life. You are looking to give them mortgage strategies that help them build wealth with real estate faster, help them accomplish what their goals are. And And guys, this takes a level of influence. I'm going to give you guys also a little nugget. So Jeremy Forcier, myself, and Dan, and Josh, and Kelly, and Denise, we were all at Amplify with Renee Rodriguez in Seattle. And we are going to be posting a video later on today that shows some of the highlights. Just giving you, like, we went through this amazing 2-day experience where we are improving our leadership. We were improving our words. We were improving on how we ask questions. We were realizing that not only the questions that we ask matter, the sequence in which we ask them matters. So I just posted a link that I filmed Jeremy Forcier. I did a whole 1-day site visit with him. So I spent, 2 dinners and an entire day, and there's just 1 minute and one idea. And that 1 minute and that one idea was, he said, you know what? I've noticed that my best lead conversion comes from referrals from my current clients, like not past clients, people that are in escrow right now. He noticed that, like, when they give me a referral, I literally convert it into a loan 50% of the time. So it's the least effort, the best conversion. He goes, I need to make more of that happen. Again, he just went through Amplify, so he learned the power of sequencing. And he said, you know what? I'm going to wait until that time in the process when the client says, thank you. Because that's a point where usually they just got approved for their loan and they're just like feeling up, they're loving me. They're like, thank you. And then I'm going to wait for that sequence. And then I'm going to ask them in a very strategic way for 2 people that they think I should know and 2 people that I can help. Now, again, you guys got to watch the video. It's just 3 minutes. I put a little framing on it, but it's just a perfect example of what leadership, what sequence can do. So check out later today the little highlights we give you on Amplify. It's going to be down below. And I want you to come away from this call going, you know what, I need to deliver mortgage strategies, not rates and fees. And of course, I am Mr. Mortgage Coach. So I don't just believe, I know it to be a fact that if you give a family a total cost analysis with a video, it's valuable for you. You will save time. It'll be more efficient for you. And I know for a fact, you will be the most valuable mortgage professional in America, regardless of whether you have the lowest rate or not. You are helping that family make a bigger decision than just a refi. So I hope this has been valuable for you guys. We're 2 minutes over. Dan, you and I are going to have to jump on a Zoom video because I've got to get the Dan Keller REFI Pro tips. Are you good with sometime in the next week unpacking 20 minutes of Dan Keller's REFI Pro tips?
Yeah. And I'll throw a couple TCAs in the comments as well.
And Renee, dude, I know how busy you are. You are just killing it. It seems like every time I tune into social media, you're on another stage doing a keynote. And I've been through Amplify 3 times this year, so I know you're just, in high demand. So thank you for jumping in this last 15 minutes, brother.
My pleasure, man. You guys are doing great stuff, and I always learn too. So great to see you, brother Dan, too.
All right, guys. So hopefully it's been a great hour and 2 minutes. If you have questions, put them down below. We'll get to them. And if our goal here at Mortgage Coach is to be the most valuable place for you to network with America's not only most successful loan officers, but most valuable loan officers. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome week.
Later.
See you guys.